Good evening, guys. It's Phil. It's All Leeds TV, and I am joined by quite a lovely little group of men this evening. We've got special guests left, right, and centre, literally. We're here to preview Chelsea away tomorrow, and I'm hoping we can have some smiley faces tonight. Despite what everyone on Twitter thinks is going to happen tomorrow, we're going to be happy, aren't we, gents? We're all going to be happy. So, yeah. So, obviously, I'll go that way around. I never know how that works. So, I'm joined, first of all, as always, by Martin Riley. Martin, how are you doing tonight, mate?
I'm good. Yeah, I've had a good week. I've been looking forward to this game for a while. Just because I don't care what happens, it's going to be a good game for me because two very good managers in Tuchel and Bielsa. It's going to be a great standoff. I'm really looking forward to it.
Right up your street, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. As a bit of a one who loves to see the tactics in play, it'll be interesting to see how both managers approach it.
So I'm sure we'll get stuck plenty into that over the next probably hour or so. James, welcome back on the show. Second time, I believe. It's nice to have you back. Have you missed it?
Yeah, thank you for the invite. Yeah, got me back on finally. So, yeah, looking forward to it. A bit nervous about tomorrow, but I suppose that's what we came back into Premier League.
What are you nervous about? Chelsea.
For sure getting injured. Yeah, that's for sure getting injured again.
Oh, mate, don't worry. Him. He's getting words because he fucking cursed everything. He was like, oh, we haven't had an injury in ages before Brentford. No. And then obviously look at him now. I'll come back to you. Yeah. Anyway, Paul Wilson joins us again, the one and only. And finally, he's on an episode where Scott can't creep him out for an hour. How's that feel, Paul?
Bit depressing, actually. I miss Scott. He's a nice guy. Made me feel good about myself. Made me feel wanted.
Mate, he's going to make you feel wanted with the amount of shit you get for the next hour. It'll be in the comments or messaging you personally.
Good, mate. I like that. It's good.
It's good to have everyone on. Obviously, we'll get straight into it. We're here to talk about Chelsea, and we always sort of start this with what has Bielsa given us in his pre-match press conference. And Martin, just reel it all off and try and make it sound not as depressing as I know that we're going to end up sounding. I'm going to try tonight to be the smile if you all refuse to smile. But Martin, go on, start me off. What's the news?
Do you want me to lead with the positives or the negatives?
All of them, just everything. Why not?
Well, as the rumour mill suggested, we've got a couple of players who are out possibly long-term in Liam Cooper and Calvin Phillips, both picking up hamstring injuries. And also our lovely Patrick Bamford picked up a nice hamstring injury as well. So we had the hat-trick of hamstrings all in one game. I think someone must find out if that has ever happened in a game. 3 players all picking up the same type of injury in the same match. That's just.
It depends. Did somebody ask God to do it beforehand?
Well, I may have tempted fate, but this is even beyond me. This is the most Leeds that it's been for a long time. And let's face it, there was injuries before I meant what I said last week, and there will be injuries again. But yeah, I do take my share of blame for that.
Rightly so.
Yeah, the positives. Pascal Struijk is actually fit to play, which is a good thing. He was one who was iffy. Also, Luke Ayling is fine. There were some rumours about him as well, but I think that was just people bringing rumours for the sake of it. Yeah. So he's fit. But yeah. And also, Robin Koch is nearly back in full training. He'll be back in at the weekend. So that's another positive we can take from it. But
someone with a healed pubis. What a lucky man.
Koch is fully healed, both him and his pubis. Yes, so that's good.
So naturally, you're feeling confident going into tomorrow, then, James? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Confident. A bit more because of their injuries, a little bit. But I mean, I suppose this is what we came back to the Premier League for, to play Chelsea and score with Liverpool. So I can't complain too much, but it's more just because of the next run of fixtures and the injuries we've got. But I can take a draw. I
think obviously, like, from what I heard, Jorginho isn't injured anymore. He will play.
Yeah, he's fit.
Kante and Chilwell, them two are missing, right?
Kovacic
Yeah.
as well.
And so is Kovacic and Chalobah.
Yeah, those two I don't care as much. Like Chilwell and Kante, big.
Alonso's I like Alonso. I think Alonso's underrated, to be honest. I think he's good.
He's good. He's just he's got weaknesses, but we'll get into those later.
Yeah. And Paul, confident.
Sorry, I'm going to be a realist, guys, and I'm just going to say how it is.
I was expecting you to go, mate.
But I can't pull punches for anyone, mate. I'm not that kind of person, and I think if you take the exact same players out of, in respect of injuries, so if you take the same kind of type of players out of Newcastle, Norwich, Burnley, Watford, they all go down. They go down, and I'm not saying that we're going to go down, but out of the next 4 games, I expect no points, and if we get anything more than that, then it's a bonus. If I'm honest, with the players that are out, in a backwards way, I think it's maybe a good time for them to be out against these 4 because we are going to struggle. If you don't think we're going to struggle, then you haven't watched the past 4, 5, 6 games. If you can be as positive as you want, but realistically, anything out of these 4 games is literally a bonus. You've got to be praying for teams around you to drop points right now, and that's just me being honest. They're all going to have rockets up their asses, these teams now. Like Chelsea, you perform badly against Zenit, and other teams. It's not going to be a nice 4 games.
I know what you mean, and to be fair, you are nail on the head. You are right. The next 4 games, if you look at them and say no points, end of the day, like that's not a bad way to go into it. I'd like to think there's something there to be taken. I think obviously when it comes to Chelsea and their form, both in the league and in Europe over the last few weeks, I do think there are a lot more there to be got at than say they were a month ago. And then obviously you can sort of hopefully take into context the fact that annoyingly Lampard did beat us last year, Tuchel didn't. Maybe that's something that makes me feel slightly better, but at the same time, another thing that I was always worried about was Lukaku versus Liam Cooper. Well, it's not happening now. So there are positives. I am scraping around for them, but I think the way I want to look at this month is I will have a little bit of what you've just said in that those 4 games are going to be extremely difficult to take anything from. But, Chelsea, I've already said, I don't think it's one where we go in and we hopefully don't get hammered. We could take something on our day. We could. I know we haven't seen a full 90 minutes yet, but if it happens tomorrow, just maybe. And then, City, Pep likes to overthink Bielsa. Maybe we get something there, even if it's just a point. And then again, Arsenal. I think Arsenal we can get something from. I'd take 3 points from these 4 games right now. If you gave me 3 points, bite your hand off. I think 3 points is I can see your face. I know you're looking at me like I'm deranged, but I've got to try and instill some hope to this show. Otherwise, we may as well go off now.
No.
I can see 3 points.
Anything from these 3 games that's not just depressing. Anything you can give me that is bright. Martin, give me something tactical about tomorrow as to why we've got a chance of getting one.
I think we're sorry. I'm sorry to speak again, but I think the main problem is not the injuries as such, but you look back to last season and the season before, and the times when we have really struggled, regardless of players out, is when Phillips is out, and that is the thing that I don't think we've got a clue really what to do in that kind of area when Phillips is out. And although we try, I mean, you can see him playing strike there tomorrow. And
my only defence that I was going to say there was we've struggled in the past because there was no Adam Forshaw. But here we go. Adam Forshaw's back.
He's brilliant, mate. I'm his biggest fan. I am.
You don't think he'll get played there?
Mate, Phillips is a better player. I said it last time I was on. Phillips is a better player than what we even think he is. he's been massive to this club, and without him, and then to add in the other ones, let someone else speak, mate, because I'm going to just bring this tone down.
You're allowed. Okay.
I'm just being honest, mate. It's going to be tough, really tough.
Well, we'll all try and provide balance. Martin, go on. Give me a tactical reason to be happy, and then follow it up with 10 to be sad.
Well, there's a couple of things that we can look at against Chelsea tomorrow. Things I've a couple of players who we can try to get at on an individual level. Actually, both fullbacks can be got at. Running at them, you may not think Reece James has many weaknesses because he's a very good player and he hasn't got very many weaknesses. But one thing that he does struggle with is players running at him. I think historically at Chelsea, he's had a 40% success rate for dribble duels, which is quite low. And this season, it's been even lower, only at 33%. So if we can get someone running at him, that could cause get
that's like Rafinha only territory, though, right?
But Rafinha will be on the other side in the even weaker defender against Alonso. So it's mainly on the right hand side that I think we'll get joy. Harrison may struggle against James. James is a big lad as well as being quite fast. But
I don't fancy that battle. You haven't sold that to me at all.
No, because I'll get into it. If Harrison can have a good game, like we've seen that he can, like he can do James damage. I know we haven't seen much of it this year, but he can dribble past people, and he has just shown it in recent games that he can get by his man. Sometimes he hasn't done all right lot after he's got past them, but if we can hope for a good game from Harrison and an even better one from Rafinha, we can hurt them on the sides, and that's one thing that I can hope to get from it. I was hoping Jorginho wasn't going to be playing, but now it appears he is. So that takes away one of my other weaknesses that I was going to suggest. The other one is if Dan James can time his runs a bit better, his pace can hurt Chelsea's backline, especially on the left-hand side of their back three, because Thiago Silva, although he's a fantastic defender, he's elite, he has great positioning, he's good at tackling, he doesn't have a lot of pace to him. And if James can time his runs properly, he can easily leave Thiago Silva behind. That's one thing. He's 37 years old. He will be left behind for pace, but it all hinges on whether Dan James can time his runs. And last time he had 3 offsides in one game. So, and I was surprised it wasn't more than that, to be honest. But yeah, regards to the Phillips thing, him being out, if it was Phillips of last season, it would be a much bigger miss. Because this season, Phillips has not been good for a while. Since he returned from the last injury that he had, he's been very bad defensively in a lot of ways. He's done some good things, but he's been our worst player for players running past him. And that's meant to be one of his strengths. He's always been a player who you can rely on someone to stop.
Probably something to do with this injury, you think?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because of the injury, it's been stopping him from playing at his usual levels, which, although there is a reason for it, it still doesn't excuse it that it hasn't been great, and it was something which oppositions have took apart. Like even Norwich dribbled past him 6 times. And that's Norwich. So what are these players from Chelsea, from Liverpool and City going to do if Phillips was there? They do even worse in the state that he was in before this. I'm not saying Phillips is a bad player. I love Phillips, and he's one of the best defensive midfielders in the country when he is fully fit and not carrying injuries. And that is what I'd say about Phillips. That it would have been worse.
It made me feel really, really calm. Thanks. Somewhere in London on All Chelsea TV, the person that does exactly your job, where they bring out these great stats that make us all feel better, is actually still talking because they've got reasons to feel better.
Well,
James,
come on.
have you got any advance on, or are you just going to give me more misery? Paul's I should have kept fucking talking.
I'm a pretty negative Leeds fan. So I'm expecting a loss, so like anything better I'd be happy with. But yeah, I'm not overly confident, to be fair. So I'll probably be like,
is there any area you think that we can exploit or is there a weakness in particular you're shitting yourself for?
There's always Rafinha. Hopefully Roberts obviously got a bit of confidence after scoring last week, which is good. I think he needed that. But yeah, hopefully Jorginho wasn't supposed to be fit, so hopefully he's not 100%, which could be good.
It's honestly like trying to pull sort of positivity out of 3 really fucking negative people.
Yeah,
just give me a lie. Just lie to me, mate. We're gonna go dick and 4-0.
He conceded 8 goals in 4 games. I think it was before that. It was like 8 in like 10 games or something. So
yeah, there we go. That's
there we
more
go.
like it. Positivity.
We are playing a bit better recently.
Yeah,
but that's my positivity for the day.
Paul, and I know I'm coming the wrong direction for positivity, mate. Any advance?
No. I think on that point, I listen a lot to talk. I've been working away recently, and I did a massive drive to Bournemouth, and all the way there and all the way back, I binged on TalkSport, and they were like very uncomplimentary about Chelsea lately. For that reason, like shipping goals, and that Tuchel will not be happy about that. But it's just us in it, it is just us to hit them when they're like, right, we need to stop shipping goals. So they'll just clean 1-0 Chelsea. I mean, look, anyone in this league can beat anyone. That's just a given. Do you know that we will probably beat one of these 4 teams just on probability. I don't know how or why or where, but I mean, Arsenal and Everton are the 2 teams in the league where you've literally no idea what's turning up. It'll be an absolute shower of death or world beaters, and hopefully we get Arsenal on a day when they're terrible. The only thing that worries me about Chelsea is, out of everyone that we're playing, I just think that they are potentially machine-like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously City, in this section, but I just think if they want to turn up on the day and they want to put things right, then they're more likely to do that than us. In our current state, we have to put our hands up and say, look at us right now. Never mind them.
Yeah.
We are not in a good place. We don't have a fully fit squad by any stretch of the imagination. Andy likes to play with a small squad anyway, so we have to just accept what is what. I tell you, what would be a real good move tomorrow, and definitely won't do it, but I'd play Cresswell tomorrow, 100%. I just play him, and I'd also play 𝐘𝐎𝐓, and I'd just use it as a game where I just unleash them all. I'd just say, right, just have a go. Just have a go at them and just give them something different to think about that they weren't expecting. Because the one thing we have been of late, I think, is pretty predictable. Not very fluid going forward. Pretty ABC with passing from the back, and we've looked pretty. We just haven't looked like the Leeds of last season at all, have we? Do you know what I mean? And I think that they will be rubbing their hands about playing us. And last season they would have hated to play us at this point, whereas now they'll be like, yes, this is a team we can turn over. Unfortunately, we're not good at the back, but that bodes for a game where you just don't know, do you? Sorry, I just can't see how.
Mate, honestly, you're entitled to come on and say anything positive or negative. No one's going to have a pop at you. A lot of people probably agree with you a lot more than. I mean, I'm trying simply for the sake of the show to play the devil's advocate role and be a bit more positive. I, in all honesty, don't expect to write a lot. And generally speaking, I agree with a lot of what you say. I think I'm going to cling to the out of form and different factors that could help us get a result tomorrow. But in all honesty, I kind of think the only reason Chelsea have had a slump has coincided with Lukaku being out the team, and now Lukaku's pretty much back. And with Lukaku back, I'm a little bit relieved. Don't get me wrong, I never want to see Liam Cooper injured or be out the team, because I actually rate him a lot higher than most people do. But at the same time, I'm really happy not to see Lukaku versus Liam Cooper, because it wasn't a battle I was looking forward to. I feel sorry for whoever plays against Lukaku tomorrow if Lukaku does start. But even if Lukaku doesn't start, like, individually, and this is where if we want to, we can hark back to money and we can hark back to the entitled six and what they are. But realistically, there's a gulf now between, for me, the top three this season in particular, financially and generally on the pitch. Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, three of the teams we've got to play next. They're just streets ahead of the rest of the division, and that was summed up like a week or so ago when you looked at not the points or as such, but the table and the goal difference. Everyone else in the league has like 0 or below. They've all got like 30 plus. They're banging in goals against even the other teams around them. They're just so far ahead. And that's where I've been saying for a while now. I generally don't rate this year, the Premier League this year. I think it's them three, a few teams that maybe can scrape to be near them, and then the rest that are just fighting out for mid-table mediocrity or to stay safe. And I'm kind of, I think we haven't spoken about it yet, but the way that Brentford ended, some people obviously feel happy that we took a point, whereas a lot of other people, and I think most people that are on here tonight would probably agree, like a point was the very least we should have taken from that game. We should have taken all three, and realistically, it should never have got there. And then what happened with Victor Orta afterwards, and it turns out now that was aimed at one of our own fans. And then obviously with the Phil Hay and Radrizzani beef a bit on Twitter this week as well. It's just one of them where tomorrow a win could really grab this club by the bollocks and just say, get a fucking grip just in time, which is kind of what we need. But at the same time, if we go and we get tonked like we do at Old Trafford every fucking season, like that's another result that could send us down a bit of a horrible spiral at the start of these 4 games. And it could go either way. In all honesty, the club and where it is this week, don't get me wrong, like what happens on a week-to-week basis does not dictate where we are. For me, like we are in a very good place. We're in a better place than we've been for the best part of 20 years. But Martin, like, how have you taken some of the other bits around everything this week? And do you think that sort of factors into anything tomorrow? Or do you think it's just kind of nonsense around?
I don't think it'll factor into the game. I think the players are quite good at shutting out the outside noise. Some of them have played through the time with having Massimo Solino in the owner's sheet. So there's a lot more nonsense going on around them. And if they can shut that out, they can shut out this. I don't think it's anything that's going to affect the game in any major way. Yeah, no. So I don't really know what else I can say on that. But the way that the game ended last week against Brentford wasn't great at all. We should have won that game. It wasn't very frustrating to not get the result that we deserved because we were in control of the game for like 75 minutes out of the full 90, and it was a 15-minute spell. Calvin got injured in that spell, and it just they picked their moment to strike, unfortunately, and. We shouldn't have let that happen, but football is what football is, and these sort of things happen, and we've just got to try to roll with it and do the best we can in these games. If we only pick up a couple of points, fair enough. If we pick up none, fair enough. Other teams around us are going to have just as tougher runs going into next year, and I don't think we'll be massively different in place from where we were, even if we don't pick up many points. We may drop a couple of positions, maybe go to 17th, but I don't think we'll drop into the bottom 3. I can't see it happening because there's quite a lot of points between us and the bottom 3, and they would have to go on a win of winning 2 or 3 games, and I just can't see that from their current form. So we'll see what happens in these next games.
How is that positive?
Well, don't worry, I'm coming to you next. I was just going to say to you, James, with obviously Martin sort of said he thought 75 minutes of that performance were good. I mean, I know if Jack was on here and Chris was on here, they'd definitely disagree. I'm just going to ask you, James, from someone that goes to the games and watches every game and sees it in a perhaps different light to me and Martin might see it. And you're definitely a lot more like, oh shit, my ass is about to fall out kind of Leeds fan. And that's fair. How do you feel? Do you feel like you've seen a performance yet this season? And are you worried? Because I know I'm not going to say like you text me sometimes some of the things that you say. Are you genuinely like, oh my fucking God?
Yeah, I'm worried, but Yeah, I think I'm worried. That's just more because of
in the 90 minutes. Is that generally how you feel?
Yeah, I thought Brentford were all right. We didn't create that much, but I felt like we were until they scored. I felt like we were in control. To be honest, I felt very positive. It felt like one of them games where we go ahead and we'll win, because that's obviously what we used to like under Bielsa.
Yeah,
we'd go ahead and we'd stay ahead. Until they scored, I felt very confident. To be honest, so looking at the table, and I was like, it was that live table. We were 11th in the league, and I was like buzzing. And then in the space of 5 minutes, it just went absolute tits up. Yeah. And then after that, we didn't do too good, and obviously we got the last minute goal. But yeah, I'm scared. But I think that's just more for the season because of the last 16 years, and it's just it's ingrained in me now. I think being.
But are you scared about the team and what you're seeing on the pitch, or are you just scared because you're elite?
It's been poor since pre-season, to be honest. Even some of the pre-season games, we didn't look. I know it's pre-season, but it's been since then we've not been great. The performances recently have got a bit better, but I think when you go on such kind of a bad run, it can be hard to go from 0 to 100 again and be as good as we were last season. So yeah, we don't seem as good as last season, but you take Bamford out of last season's first half of the season, we won't be doing as good. Phillips been injured a bit this season, hasn't he? Missed a few games. Ayling was unreal last year. He's been injured. Dallas obviously had his problems. So there obviously are a few problems in the back that haven't helped in terms of the squad. If that was last season, then I think we wouldn't be as good as last season. So I am nervous, to be honest. I do trust Bielsa, but I'm just nervous. I just don't want to get relegated. I just dread it, to be honest. So
I think there's a few different types of Leeds fan, and I'm leading somewhere with this. I think there's the Leeds fan here that loves Bielsa so much, and I've got bits of all three, which is why I'm really happy with who we've got on tonight. But Bielsa fan who really, really, really struggles to question. Bielsa fan who struggles to question, but also kind of isn't convinced by what they see. And then Paul, I'm coming to you, Bielsa fan, but at the same time isn't going to stand for any bullshit and isn't convinced by what he's seeing. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you are.
I'm
relieved. No, you're not. You're not wrong. But I don't blame Bielsa. Bielsa. Well, I adore him, mate. He's done something to a football club that I've never seen in my whole life at any club. He's not just changed the team, but he's changed deeper the philosophy, then deeper the people in it, then deeper even still the people around the city. Yeah, and everywhere. The guy has been the best thing for Leeds United. Yeah, I'd say honestly, big call in my lifetime. Even more so than and people are going to definitely disagree with this, but in the context of it, from what he's done as one person, bigger than Wilkinson for me. And I know we won the league, and that's fine, but getting us out of the Championship for me was never. And people was like, "Oh, we were getting there, right." We weren't. No, we weren't. It was a poison chalice, that job, and he got us out of there. But this is my little theory on it now, of to what's going on. And I've read bits about the clubs that he's been at before, and the way he trains, and ex-players that have been trained by him and stuff. And I think a lot of them say the same, that the training is so intensive and so kind of demanding, and it's such a grueling thing to do that if this makes sense, the season before we went up, there was that, yes, this works. Yes, we are going to go up. So that the season when we went up, everyone bought into it. Everyone was willing to put the work in. Everyone knew it was going to pay off, basically. And then from there, you're on an absolute high. You've been promoted. You've won the league. So we're in the Premier League. It's oh my God, it's so exciting. Do you know what I mean? And we've brought that style of play to the Premier League, and we've blown teams away. I just think that
with what you're seeing on the pitch now.
Well, this is what I was just going to say, mate. Yeah. What I see now is it feels to me like a lot of these players are just now thinking, like we're not challenging. We're not going to get into Europe. Do you know what I mean? We're in a bit of a dogfight. They're definitely getting beasted still every single day. Yeah. They look tired. They all look tired, like from top to bottom, mate. We're not running as hard. We're not attacking as quick. We're not breaking as quick. And it feels to me like as well, and I said this last time I was on, that there was like this little bit of a fantasy thing when he came in, and with Hernandez and Berardi and Alioski, there was like this like mystical thing. It was like what was going on. It was amazing, and I think the loss of those three in the dressing room, you know, and that like core of like, you know, what he did and winning the league and stuff, and then also like the start we've had and where we are in the league. I just feel like there's a lack of interest from the players, that they're a bit like, fuck's sake, this isn't as exciting as it was when we were challenging for titles, and you know we're up there in 9th with the Premier League. And don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning their like passion for the club or anything like that, or for the fans, but I just think mentally it must be really, really draining and tiring to play at that level, because they've all been playing above the level, mate. Nobody can deny that.
No,
they've been playing above themselves.
Yeah.
So now it feels like we're just getting now, like things are just settling back down to where they maybe should have been, and maybe it's just tough, mate.
Right. I'm glad that you got to that point, to be honest, because I know I actually thought, and I was just going off some of the things that you'd said earlier. I was like, I've spoken, obviously people have seen Jack and Chris and what they said after the game, and there's been a lot of similar things on Twitter. Some people are a bit frustrated with how the games recently in general have gone, and some of that frustration is now starting to point not just at the players, but perhaps at Bielsa, perhaps at Victor Orta, perhaps at even the ownership. Like people, and I kind of got to the stage where I've settled myself down in thinking that we were always told that the second season was purely about consolidation, and then after that, the next 3 years is the aim for Europe, whether that be the Europa Conference League or the Champions League. Europe is Europe, but the first season was stay in the Premier League, and the second season was even more important, stay in the fucking Premier League. And I think the players excelled themselves last season more than they ever had before. And let's be honest, like the vast majority of this squad 2 years ago were Championship players playing well and above, beyond their levels to get us promoted. The vast majority of that squad, some people have left, like you said, Pablo, Berardi and Alioski have now left, but Liam Cooper, Luke Ayling, Stuart Dallas, like Matthias Klick, a lot of these players, for me, are top-end Championship players, don't get me wrong, but they're not like 9th in the Premier League footballers for me. They're not. And maybe they are 17th in the Premier League footballers, and that's what they're being shown as this season. But I still believe that having a manager like Bielsa pushes that level of player with the sprinkling of stardust that maybe a Rafinha, a Calvin, a Bamford, a Meslier, and obviously Rodrigo. Up in the air about that one maybe, but those little sprinklings of genuine Premier League players on top of the Championship core are perhaps giving us now what we really are, which is a mid-table team, and we have to fight to remain in the league this year. And then obviously after this summer, I reckon a good transfer window could hopefully take us back to a bit more of a safety net. But this season is going to feel uneasy for fans, and I think that's sort of been felt for the first time, for me anyway, this week, in some of the frustrations that have seemed to come out, and not just from fans. I think the Victor Orta thing kind of centered around that. I'll let you all have a little bit of a say on that, but then I really do want to move on to, like, first of all, the lineups, predicting them, and then obviously a prediction for tomorrow and how it's going to go. Martin, do you think that is still where we are? Are we a 9th place Premier League side, or is this more of an accurate reflection of what we are?
Well, I think it's a number of things you've got to think about for this, because the league is so different this year. There's a lot less quality. A lot of teams are underperforming. Other teams are doing ridiculously well. Like the teams towards top ends, Liverpool and City are just miles ahead, and then Chelsea are just below them. And at least if you look at the underlying data behind it. But our team itself, we have got a lot of players who can fit into a top 4 side, in my opinion. You've got players like Meslier, you've got players like Phillips, Rafinha, Bamford, and other teams who are just sitting just below that. Players like Pascal Struijk, I think he could maybe not quite at a top 4 now, but he's close. He's definitely in that region just below what that would be. But then you've got other players who aren't individually on their own skills at that sort of level. There are a lot lower players like, as much as I love him, Liam Cooper and Stuart Dallas and Matthias Glick. But the sum of their parts is greater because of the system which Bielsa plays. And when that system works and is all gelling, then yes, overall it is a ninth place squad because we did it last year. But it hasn't been gelling this year as much as what it has been. And there's a number of things that could go into that, like Paul said about the training and the style of play. That does take a toll on players after a while. There's well-established people more smart than me and know more than me about fitness. There's a certain time limit that squads have when you play in intense styles of football, and you have to have a lot of churn over a few years. So you replace these players who have been tied out by the system. So yeah, I hope you got some sort of logical sense from what I said there. But
yeah, I mean, James, do you agree? Do you think we're a ninth place Premier League squad?
It's tough. There's a lot of teams at the bottom that are fairly similar, to be honest. So,
yeah.
For example, we could easily finish 16th or 10th, even though it's quite a lot of places. There's not very much difference between finishing 10th and 16th in terms of teams around there. Your Wolves, Palaces, and maybe Brentford's sort of thing. A lot of us are quite similar. So, even though you might finish 10th or 16th, there's probably not a massive gap between 6 or 7 places.
Yeah. Especially points-wise at the moment as well.
Well, yeah. We can go, like, the other day we were 11th at one point the other day. And that looks great on paper, doesn't it, really? So, yeah.
Yeah. Paul, ninth place Premier League squad? Or similar to what James said, it basically doesn't make a difference after you get below 9th anyway.
I think nowadays the squad is kind of a hard one to judge because it depends who's in charge of them. Like I was just thinking then while James was talking, if you can imagine if Bielsa got hold of Newcastle and he had Joe Linton, Saint-Maximin, Wilson and Fraser, he would do some damage with that team, like major damage. So it depends on the coaching and how the players fit in. But I think the problem for us has been, again, I know he hasn't been playing well, and I do agree with that, but Bielsa's way of playing revolves around like the spine being strong, and Meslier, a centre back, which obviously when we went up was White, Phillips, and then Bamford. That has to be strong, and when you lose all that, I kind of think that no, we're not a ninth place team, mate. No. I'll just get to that point. We're not.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. I must admit, as much as I enjoyed the positivity from you two, I was sat here thinking, fucking hell, this is far too positive. I don't agree. I don't think we are a ninth place Premier League team squad.
Imagine.
It's not.
Imagine if we beat Brentford the other day and we'd be 11th.
Yeah, we're still.
Do you know what I mean? Like 11th.
There hasn't been 90 minutes this season that suggests we belong in the top half of this table. We really don't. And it's a consolidation season. It's fine. Yeah. I'm okay with it. Next season, if we're performing like we've been performing the start of this season, I won't be as forgiving, and I will start to question things maybe, but I'm not going to question anything so far. I think it's not been great, but look, in Bielsa, I trust forever. Like, the guy can walk into my house and piss on my Christmas tree. I really don't give a shit. He can do what he wants. Anyway, we're going to predict the lineup for tomorrow. We're going to go as quick as we can because we've actually like got a good 40 minutes out of not putting on tomorrow. So we all expect Illan Meslier to start in net, yeah? Right. So Martin, you're telling me I'm going to throw it out there before you can. It's a 4-4-2 tomorrow, yeah? Give me your fours in order. So, Martin, back four, please.
Back four of Ayling, Llorente, Struijk, and Firpo.
Agreed, James?
that's what I had. Yeah. That's what I've got.
Paul?
Yeah.
You want Cresswell in, don't you?
I want him in, but yeah, he won't do it. But yeah, I'd have Cresswell in from when he first played, yeah.
Instead of who?
Well, if he does anything, mate, he could play Strauch in midfield, but
yeah.
I think either of them. I'm not just saying this, and it's a massive call, mate, but I've watched Cresswell a few times, mate. I think he's a really big player, mate. And I'd have him in. I'd honestly, from what I've seen lately, he would be in that back four, like with anyone. He's class, mate. I don't know if you've seen much of him. He's class.
No, I think he's quality, but defensively, we haven't been that bad, really.
I think Cresswell is a good player, but as we've seen recently in the 23s, he has still got a lot of learning to do. He got 2 yellow cards in the first half an hour, and apparently he forgot that he got the first yellow card. So if that sort of thing happens in a Premier League game against Chelsea, that
mate, I love how he's carried that on. Like, I didn't know. Yeah, mate, of course you do.
I'm not doubting his quality, and he will be a player for us, and he will start for us in the Premier League more in the future. But he still has growing to do as a player. Yeah. Bielsa did say that he is in contention for the squad and that he does feel that he could use him in the Premier League game, but I'm not sure if he will use him against Chelsea with the type of players that he's going to become against the Lukaku and Timo Werner and Christian Pulisic and whoever else plays tomorrow. It's a massive challenge for someone of his age and someone who still has learning to do. But yeah, I'm not saying he won't get there, but not just yet for me. No.
Okay though, defensively, there's no need to kind of like, you need to change the defense up dramatically because obviously we've been okay defensively. Obviously we've got 5 against Scum, 3 against Liverpool. That's 8 goals, and then we conceded 21 goals, 22 goals.
Yeah, well, but prior to Brentford, we had 2 clean sheets in a row, which is decent. So
you're top defending us.
Yeah,
well, I mean, not that far, but
obviously, like Liam Cooper has his legion of fans and non-fans. The popular thing to say when you don't like Liam Cooper is, get rid of him. Pascal Struijk should start alongside Llorente.
Last season, when them 2 were together, that's probably when we had get a lot of clean sheets. Before last year,
what Struijk and Llorente or Cooper and Llorente?
Llorente and Pascal, yeah. When them 2 played together, our record was very good, to be honest.
It's a Liam Cooper hater's dream tomorrow because we're going to see those 2 start together.
I like Cooper, to be fair, so I'm happy either way to let him or Pascal playing.
Yeah, I mean, Pascal versus Lukaku. I mean, anyone versus Lukaku. I mean, good luck. That's all I can say.
I think if I was to choose any one of our defenders to mark Lukaku, it would be Struijk. He's the only one who probably comes close to him physically. I mean, obviously, he's not quite there because Lukaku is just ridiculous. He's very strong. He's very good in the air. He's better technically than people give him credit for. And he's going to be a tough challenge for whichever one is marking tomorrow. I do think Llorente should be okay with him as well. He has showed that he can handle the more physical players better than he can the ones who have got a bit of pace about them. So I think... Well, I don't think he's still going to be a challenge for whoever has to deal with him, because he just says he's scored a lot of goals and he's not quite clicked as much for Chelsea as what he has done over in Italy and when they won the Serie A. But he will definitely get there and he will score a lot more goals than what he's currently got.
I think Paul's about to say, "Oh, you want physicality? Well, fucking put Charlie Cresswell in." Paul,
there you go, mate.
Yeah, I would agree. Actually, I think Struijk for me, Pascal is the one that I would start. But if for example, there's some sort of weird formation change and we do have to end up playing a back 3 tomorrow, I wouldn't be against Charlie Cresswell playing. To be honest, I just think if it is a back 4, either way, he's going to be on the bench. But after Pascal, I think he'd be better at handling that physical side of Lukaku than say Llorente would. So I can see the reason for the shout. What do we all think of the midfield 4 then? Martin, James, and Paul in order. Midfield 4s.
It's going to be for me. I think who will start probably Rafinha, Dallas, Forshaw, and Harrison.
Right, James.
Same. Yeah. Probably the same. I'll do that. Probably that 4 to be fair. Yeah. No one else to play really.
Paul.
click maybe.
Well,
yeah, I can't really argue with that. Really,
yeah, I would expect Rafinha to be as part of the front two, or Dan James to be part of the front two with a Tyler Roberts. So I would expect Harrison to be.
I would have expected 4-4-2, to be honest with you.
The reason for it is it matches up at Chelsea. I'm putting out something on it in the morning, which will show some more details. But basically, that's the only way you can match them for the two systems that they play. They play 3 centre backs, so we'll have 2 strikers. They will only be playing, should only be playing 2 central midfielders, because they do have a few players out. So I'd imagine it'd be 2 central midfielders. Then you'll have 2 wing backs on both sides and 2 wingers, and then 1 central striker. So we only need 2 centre backs to deal with 1 striker, 2 wide players on both sides. So that's the way it matches up on Bielsa's man marking. We shouldn't be playing a defensive midfielder unless Chelsea spring a different formation than what they have done for most of this season.
So, but nobody thinks Jack Harrison starts on the left.
No, I do.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah, we all did.
Wait, what? Did I miss that? So
Yes.
I thought I heard Dan James in there.
Nah.
No Dan James. So is Dan James up front or?
Yeah, 100%.
With Robert?
Yes, that's what
Right.
that's my.
I've got to say something about Tyler Roberts. I can't keep this in anymore.
What?
Sorry.
Is it good or bad?
It's bad, man. I'm really disappointed. Listen, you know what I mean? Great goal. No, genuinely, right. Credit where credit's due. I've been waiting to say something about this for a long time now. He's absolutely infuriated me against Brentford. We're 1-0 up. He gets the ball on the left wing. We're obviously where we are in the league. Do you know what I mean? He's just scored a goal and he does a no-look pass to Harrison on left wing. I don't know if anyone else saw it. I was just sat in the stand, mate. I was absolutely gobsmacked. And I just thought, who are you and where are we? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? We went in 1-0 up. We ended up going 2-1 down, hands on the heads, and then when we're 1-0 up, we're doing no-look passes. Honestly, like, I would just, what is that? Sorry, that's just annoyed me for so long. It came out really aggressive, but
no, it's fine. I mean,
just
I can't say I saw it, to be honest. Look, I think you'd struggle to find a Leeds fan this season that hasn't said something that resembles a sentence like Tyler Roberts has frustrated me for reason X. Like, that sentence has left most people's mouths. But I would say against Brentford, I had him down as my man of the match. I thought, not just because of the goal. I genuinely thought he did play quite well. But I think the last few games has seen an improvement in him. But generally speaking, yeah, sometimes he has been frustrating to watch. Let's hope that the goal and the performances recently are a way of turning that round. So do you feel confident with those 2 up front then, Paul? Against Chelsea and Thiago Silva and other wonderful defenders.
Well, the fact of the matter is, mate, no, but I will, you know, having said that about that, you know, the no-look pass, credit where credit's due, we deserve that goal. Do you know what I mean? And he has had a lot of grief, and for me, being a Leeds fan, he's wearing a Leeds shirt. I hope he goes there and terrorises him. I really do. That's what we all hope. But it was just that thing with the no-look pass. It's just like the attitude. It's like, well, wait a minute, 1 goal's not made you a world beater. Do you know what I mean? Like, put the graft in. You know, keep going. Yeah. And
people always say it gives you confidence, and a no-look pass doesn't come out of someone that has no confidence. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I honestly didn't see it.
Yeah. Just.
But my one question about this: would you have had the same concerns if it was Rafinha doing a no-look pass?
Well, no, because he's been playing classmate, and we don't have any concerns about it.
No, but if someone's in form, they are confident, and that sort of thing is something which someone was confidence. When did the pass find its mark? Did it get to the player who it wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that if it was a no-look pass and it went 50 yards into the stands, then I could probably understand the criticism more, because I thought he had a really, really good game. He pressed the backline very well. He linked up play very well. He won quite a few fouls in dangerous areas. I was just so pleased that I could finally have a post-match show where I wasn't saying, "Oh,
I
Tyler
think a
had
good
had a bad
comparison,
game."
like you've just made, Martin, is the game before Rafinha's penalty. Even though it's Rafinha, like the way he stops and just before he's about to hit it, mate, I can guarantee you 35,000 people did not think Rafinha was a fucking good player at that 1/2 a second before he paused. I was thinking, you stupid bastard, you fucking hit it.
I think, Martin, me and you are going to have to disagree here, mate.
No, that's fine. I'm fine. You can disagree all you want.
Right.
I just want to make the point. Obviously, like I've played football a lot of years, like, and not at a very good level, but
mate, I disagree.
But from my point of view, a no-look pass is a showboat. You showboat against the team when you're comfortably in front, right? And or when you are a player who is in the form of your life. Do you know what I mean? And when you are doing things that, you know, you are confident that you are producing, like producing the ABC stuff, like crosses and shots on target and runs. Do you know what I mean? Like Rafinha's stats, he scores goals, he gets assists.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He beats people. He has a right, in my opinion, to take the piss. Do you know what I mean? Out of players, because he does. The stuff that he does with the ball is incredible. So I appreciate what you're saying about, oh, well, did it get to his man? Well, it did. But if I was Tyler Roberts in you know, the criticism that I've been receiving and, you know, like the lack of goals completely that I've been scoring, which is very, very few. Do you know what I mean? I would have been more interested about that pass reaching Harrison than even attempting a no-look pass, because for one, his team are 1-0 up in a relegation fight, you know, not 4-0 up, you know, mid-table cruising against someone who's going down. This is a tight game, you know, and I just think the decision to do something like that showed a real lack of respect to everyone, to be honest with you. I just thought it was totally the wrong time, totally the wrong place by totally the wrong player in the situation that, you know, that he's been in, if I'm honest.
James, ever attempted a no-look pass, mate?
I can't see where you're coming from. I kind of got to see the pass to see how obvious it was. If it was a pass where it was clearly going to go to Harrison, then fair enough. But you can kind of do a no-look pass. But I don't know. I kind of got to see the pass to
Martin. Find this pass now while we're on air. Find it.
Yeah, find it.
I don't think I'll be able
where you're
to.
coming from. I think a slight overreaction personally, but I can see where you're coming from. Definitely.
Yeah. No, I get the point. Go on, James.
No, I can see where it's coming from. I think it's a slight overreaction.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm not, yeah, but
I accept that, mate. Yeah, it's been winding me up for that for 1 week.
Yeah, no, it is something that does potentially.
I think it's just obviously we're not doing well and everyone's a bit frustrated. It probably just gets to you more than it probably should do, sort of thing. So I can see why it would annoy you, sort of thing, and get to you.
Yeah. So we'll move on while Martin's defo trying to find this no-look pass. we'll go for score predictions for tomorrow. Just because Martin's still looking, we'll go anti-clockwise this time. Paul, start us off with a 5-0 win for Leeds United tomorrow, yeah?
I can't, mate.
I've
already done my Super Six and all my predictions for tomorrow, mate, and I'm going 3-1 Chelsea.
No, same as last season. Yeah. Who's going to score our goal? We don't give a shit about theirs.
Tyler Roberts with a no-look finish in bottom corner.
Imagine.
No, I think Rafinha penalty. I think probably right. A little bit of pace against some of their back defenders might just cause a little bit of bother and might just get a lucky penalty. I think the best we hope for tomorrow is a 0-0, but I just can't see it. I think they'll get an early goal, and I just think it'll be one of those games you don't want to watch, to be honest with you. Sorry. I am normally a positive fan. I don't
want to, but you probably have got a lot of people watching that will think, yeah, he's probably right. James, any advance on 3-1, mate?
I see 4-1. I'm saying 3-0 Chelsea, to be honest. Honestly, I'm not confident at all. Sorry.
You just don't even think we score?
No.
You just didn't want to answer the next question, did you? Like, who scores?
Yeah, I can't. I'm not confident, to be honest. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that was cheery. Martin, You're positive. Come on, mate. Have you found
I actually, despite all what I've said today, I've got just I don't know what it is, and it goes against every tactical bone in my body and everything about the stats which it tells me. But I'm going for a 2-1 win
to Leeds.
Yes.
I need some positive.
I don't know why. It's just one of those things, that we can do these performances where we're not expected to get anything. That's been the lead thing for a long time. Is when we're down for the count and we've lost loads of games in a row, we're not doing well, just to suddenly dig something out. And I believe in this squad so much. I believe in Bielsa so much that I just think something positive is going to happen tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. And my prediction could well be totally wrong, but.
Last week you predicted that nobody would get injured, and look what you did.
Yeah, well,
you should have gone the other way.
But I did also say the same thing the week before, and nothing happened, and we was nearly fully injured for it.
So
2 out of 1.
Gods up for too long, and they took it out on you.
Maybe so.
Punished us all for that.
Yeah, and regards to the goal scorers, I will say Lukaku will score for Chelsea, and it'll be Roberts and Dallas.
If Tyler Roberts scores 2 games in a row, the state of this channel in the aftermath is going to be so fucking funny to watch. I can take those on board. And interesting mixture of results. I don't see us getting a win, if I'm honest. At the same time, like I've said from the start, I'm clinging on to small bits of positivity that Thomas Tuchel hasn't yet beaten us. The idea that we didn't lose to them last time we played them, and there are some sort of little bits I can pick at, like hopefully they're in bad form and whatever, but I think we're gonna lose. I'm gonna say, for the sake of the show, a draw, like a 0-0, take that. 1-1, take that. But my head honestly does kind of side with these guys down there. Like 3-1 is probably going to be right, if I'm honest. Maybe we'll score a goal. Do you remember when we played them years ago in the cup and 𝐾𝐿 put us 1-0 up and we all went mental, and then they went and dicked us 5-1?
Yes.
Similar to last season, actually. Bamford scored in the first few minutes when Lampard was in charge anyway. And obviously they took the lead and we were like, fucking yes! And then 10 minutes out, of fuck's sake. I kind of think tomorrow's going to be like that. If it can just be, yes! Just once and it's 1-1. Yeah, take that. That would make me feel really happy. And then obviously Tuesdays, going into that with some kind of positivity, it'd be nice. I mean, we'll wrap up in a minute. How are you watching the game tomorrow, guys? Who's going to the game? Who's watching it where? Paul, we'll go this way around. We'll keep as we are. Paul, where are you watching?
Not sure yet, mate. Might just get in a boozer with lads and just like you were saying, just hope for a bit of a miracle. If we do win, though, I think we should all come back on and talk, because it'll just be an interesting conversation at least. None of us will know what's happened.
Hey, you know where we are Sunday at 8:30. Player ratings. You're back on, James. He's just signed you up for it as well, mate. So
if we win.
Yeah, if we win. And if
that's the thing. If we win, I'm on.
A forfeit or something. What's the forfeit if Roberts does score?
Roberts at the back of that shirt. Roberts at the back of the shirt.
No.
We should have Martin Sunday. Even if we don't win and these two are back on, or whether they're not, you're going to find this no-look pass. We're going to share it on here, and we're going to analyze this no-look pass.
I'm looking for it now. Do you know how long after the goal it was, Paul? If you can remember.
Not too long. Do you know the thing is though as well? When I said it, like a load of us saw it round where because we were all looking the same way, and everyone went. But even in the back of my head, I'm thinking, was it a no-look pass? But it definitely was. It definitely was. And I was absolutely fuming.
And it was
but you know when you just think, as he passed it, and then someone's like shouting his name at the same time, and he's just let it go. But I mean, if that is the case, Tyler, then I apologise, mate. But if you're showboating, then no, it's a no for me, mate.
I'll try and find it. So it was definitely in the first half. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
So I'll only have to look through about 15, 20 minutes of footage then. So
we
that's
can
fine.
keep talking. To be fair,
and it was a ball to either Harrison or James on the left wing.
Okay, I will keep looking. And
if you go on double time, mate, we can probably get to the bottom of this before we leave.
Wait
until Martin just goes back and says, "Mate, I want to know look pass. You're just a fraud." The tweet, Robertson apologise.
James, what about you, mate? Where are you watching the game tomorrow?
Yeah, just at home tomorrow. Just gonna home and probably go out after for a few bevs and then hopefully be celebrating.
Celebrate, yeah.
Well, bevs either way, lose or celebrate, win or lose. So yeah.
Martin, you watching at home as well, mate?
Yeah, I'll be fine watching it on whatever stream I can find for it.
You're all a set of dodgy bastards because it's not on telly.
Yeah. It's a 3 p.m, so there's not going to be any. Well, unless there's any pubs which do have dodgy streams.
I'm abroad.
Well then you're fine then. Yeah.
Mate, I work for Opta. I've got it. You can all come round my house.
But yeah, I'll be watching it at home. Probably by myself, or the missus might be here, but she's a Man U fan, so she don't count.
Never admit that
she doesn't count.
I've admitted it plenty of times. At least when it comes to Leeds, she don't count. But yeah, yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Well, I'm hoping we've given everyone reason to smile tonight. Do you think we have?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Sorry, yeah, I was about to wrap up, but Paul's got an announcement he wants to share with you.
It's kind of embarrassing, isn't it? Really?
No, mate, not at all. We had you fucking doing a sing along with a guy that wanted to actually take you to a hotel room the last time you were on. This is not embarrassing at all.
What do you mean wanted to? It happened. No, yeah. So if there's any Leeds fans out there that are watching and you're struggling for Christmas gifts or you would just want a nice gift, my second album is out. It's called Leeds for Life. There's 14 tracks on there that we've spent an awful lot of time and money on recording, so it'd be nice to recoup some of that. But more than anything, just it helps support us and do more music and do more gigs that we've been doing, and we've been, having great fun doing them. The album's already been posted to Thailand, America, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, everywhere, Argentina. It's been brilliant, and there's so many nice people out there. But I'd like to sell out of these. So if you are wanting to know where you can get one from, you can now get them direct from my website, which is paulwilsonmusic.uk. And if you want the actual link, it's paulwilsonmusic.uk/shop. And the CD is on there. It's only a tenner plus postage. There's also now on there the digital download, so you don't have to get the CD. You can just get the songs direct to your phone, which makes it a little bit easier. And we've just announced a new gig at the Irish Centre called Ups and Downs, and that'll be on the 30th of April after the Man City game. If the Man City game gets moved to an evening kickoff, we may think about rescheduling. But if it's moved to any other kickoff at that weekend, so Friday night, Sunday, early on the Saturday, it will go ahead. Obviously, COVID pending as well, so yeah. But it'd be nice to see somebody there. I know, Phil, you had a good time and got very drunk. Martin, even more drunk as well. So, but yeah, it'd just be great to see people there, and the support that we get from everyone is brilliant. And yeah, if you can get an album or 5, then that would be massive to us. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, mate, I'm gonna throw my 2 penneth in. If you like Leeds United and you like music and you like Leeds United music, this is one that you want. I still have songs from that night just randomly popping into my head while I'm working. I just sit there humming along. I love your stuff, Paul, and maybe not quite as much as Scott. Is going to be absolutely kicking himself that he's not on tonight, but Santa duty calls apparently. I mean, whatever. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be wanting to see you again after December. Obviously, he's not available now. He's busy in his workshop or some shit, whatever he wants me to say. But yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, you three, and obviously everyone that's been with us for the last hour or so. I hope you do enjoy tomorrow, no matter how hard it may be to watch or not, hopefully. We'll be back, obviously, on Sunday, hopefully with these two joining us, dissecting a no-look pass that probably didn't happen. And obviously, also just hopefully giving Tyler Roberts a 9 out of 10 for his hat-trick at Stamford Bridge, but taking a 1 off because of the no-look pass that he is going to do tomorrow. And yeah, player ratings to come, plenty of content to catch us with tomorrow, watch-alongs, lineup reactions, post-match reactions. So keep an eye on our channel for everything that's to come. If you haven't already, smash that like, guys, as Oscar would say, and subscribe to the channel and have a look at Paul Wilson music and buy the CD, basically. Thank you very much, Martin, James, Paul, and enjoy your evening. I'm off. All the best.